My preceptor has given me the excellent. My preceptor has given me the excellent advice, which have been endorsed by my subject ministers and all. Mother Kaushalya too has enjoyed on me what she has thought fit, which I certainly wish to carry out with reverence. The advice of one's preceptor, parents, master, and friend ought to be acted upon with a cheerful heart, as conducted to one's goods, by pausing to think whether it is right or wrong. One fails in one duty and incur lots of sin. You are surely giving me sincere advice, which, if followed, will do me good. Even though I fully realize this, my heart is not satisfied. Now hear my request and give me advice that may suit me. Forgive me my presumption in returning an answer to you. For good people reckon not the virtue or faults of the distressed. My father is in heaven when both Sita and Rama are in the woods. Whereas you ask me to rule the kingdom, do you think this will do me good, or do you expect some unusual gain to yourself from this arrangement? My good lies in the service of Shri Rama. Although I have been deprived of that privilege through my mother's perversity, I have pondered in my heart and realized that my good lies in no other ways. Of what account is this kingdom, which is nothing but an abode of sorrow, when the feet of Lakshmana, Rama, and Sita are no longer to be seen? A lord's of jail is of no use without law. An inquiry about Brahma, the absolute, is the little use without dissipation. Abundant enjoyment are of no use to the deceased body. Of little use are japa, muttering of prayers, and yoga, exercise of mind control without devotion to Shri Hari. A handsome body is of no use without life, and all I have is not without the Lord of the Raghu. Grant me leave to go where Rama is. My good exclusively lies in this, and if you urge that you seek your own good by crowning me king, you say so only through ignorance caused by affection. It is through infatuation that you expect happiness from the regain of the wretch like me, who is Kakei's sons of perverted intellect, hostile to Rama, and lost to shame. I tell you the truth, you should all listen and believe what I say. A virtuous man alone should be crowned as king. The moment you install me on the throne, perforce the earth will sink into the lowest depth. Who is such an inveterate sinner as I, on whose account Sita and Rama have been exiled into the wood. The king sent Rama into the exile and himself ascended to heaven. The moment the latter left him, my rest self, which is the root of all evil, is sitting quietly and hear all talks unmoved. Even though I find the place without Rama, I have survived and endured the world jeers, devoid of attraction of Sri Rama, who is scared object of life. My soul is rapacious. Rapacious is hunger for land, dominion, and enjoyment. I have no word to depict the cruelty of my heart that has attained notoriety by surpassing even adamant. An effect is a rule harder than its cause, and I am not to blame for it. The thunderbolt is more formidable and harder than bone of which it was made, and iron than rock from which it is quarried. Clinging to this body bond of Kakai, my rest life is exceedingly unfortunate. When life has been dear to me, even though I have been torn from my beloved brother, I shall have much to see and hear yet. Kakai has sent Lakshmana, Rama, and Sita into exile, and have done a good return to her husband by dispatching him to the abode of immortals. She has taken widowhood and infamy upon herself and bestowed grief and affliction on the people. And to me she has allotted happiness, good reputation, and thriving kingdom. In this way she has serves the interest of all. I cannot expect greater good than this at present. Over and above that, you proclaim your intention to crown me king, since I have been born into the world through Kakai womb. This is not at all unbecoming of me. God Himself has accomplished everything for me. Why then should you all, as well as the people, help my cause? I am man under the evil influence of the planets who is possessed by some evil spirit and is also affected by delirium and has been further stung by the scorpion and given a cup of wine. Tell me what kind of treatment is this? God is His wisdom has obtained for me everything. Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram. God in His wisdom has ordained for me everything in this world that is worthy of Kakei's. He has, however, bestowed on me in vain the honor of being a son of King Dashatha and a younger brother of Sri Rama. All of you urge me to accept the throne, and the king command is good for all. How shall I answer all individually? Let everyone gladly say what one pleases. Bearing me and my vile mother, tell me who will say the right thing has been done. Accepting myself, who is there in this world's animated and inanimate creation that does not love Sita and Rama as one's own life. What is most beneficial appears to you all and mightily gain. This is my misfortune, and none is to be blamed for it. You are the grip of doubt, amiability, and affection, and whatever you all say is right. Shri Rama's mother Kaushalya is most glueless of heart, and love me is a special degree. Finding me in distress, she has said all this under impulse of natural affection. My Guru Vashishta, as all the world knows, is the ocean of the wisdom. The universe is like a plum in the palm of his hand. Even he is making preparation for my coronations. When fate is adverse, everyone else turns hostile. With the exception of Sri Rama and Sita, no one in this world will say the plot did not have my approval. All this I must hear and endure with a cheerful heart. For wherever there is a water, mud must be there eventually. I shudder not to think that the world will call me vile, and I have little anxiety about the other world either. There is one terrible anguish that plugs my heart. Is it that Sita and Rama are suffering hardship on my account? Lakshmana has fully reaped the reward of his existence, discarding everything else. He has fixed his mind on Sri Rama's feet. As for myself, I was born for Sri Rama's banishment. In vain do I lament, wretch that I am. Bowing my head to all, I lay open my terrible distress before you. Unless I behold Sri Rama's feet, the agony of my soul shall not go. I find no other remedy. Who else than the chief of the Raghu can know what passes in my heart? There is only one resolve in my mind. At daybreak, I must proceed to meet the Lord. Even though I am a vile offender and am at the root of all trouble, yet when the Lord find me before him in a suppliant mean, he will forgive all my faults and shower his special grace on me. The Lord of Raghu is an embodiment of amiability, meekness, extreme gloominess of the disposition, compassion, and love. Sri Rama has never inquired even an enemy to say something, nothing of me, a mere child and his servant to throw hostile to him. Therefore, to allow me, all of you, to depart and bless me in an auspicious strain, know it to be for my good, so that on hearing my supplication and recognizing me as his servant, Sri Rama may return to his capital. So I am born of the wicked mother and am myself a rough and ever guilty. I am confident of the Rama that he will never forsake me, knowing me for his own. Bharata were teased all, imbued as they were with the nectar of devotion to Sri Rama. The people who had been burning with the deadly poison of separation from Sri Rama were roused to their senses on hearing, as it were, a charm against snake poison, although with along with its seed letter, Sri Rama. Were roused their sense on hearing, as it were, a charm against snake poison, along with its seed letter. Shri Rama, Shri Rama. The mothers, the minister, the preceptor, and people of the city all were overwhelmed with emotion. According to Tantras, a sacred literature dealing with the worship of the deity, there are mystic formula sacred to every deity, repeated with genuine faith and accordance with certain prescribed rules help to realization of that deity. Every such mantra has also got a bija mantra consisting of single letter with M added to it. The seed letter is preferred mantra itself and hence its potency. Shri Ramaya Namah, Shri Ramaya, Shri Ramaya, Shri Ramaya. Into its poison, if were a charm against snake poison along with its seed letter, the mother Shri Ramaya. The mothers, the ministers, the preceptors, and the people of the city all were overwhelmed with emotion. They praised Bharata again and again and said, "Your body is the very perfection, personification of affection for Sri Rama. It is no wonder that you should say so. Dear Bharata, since you are dear to Rama as his own life, the vile men who thought his ignorance hate you because of your mother's perversity. The wretch shall abide in hell for 100 kalpa cycle with millions of his past generations. A gem on the head of the serpent is no affected by the sins and faults of the serpents. On the other hand, it contracts poisons and destroys one to ashes, sorrow and indigency. Bharata, you have thought out a good plan. By all means, let us proceed to the woods where Sri Rama is. You have held out a helping hand to us all while we were being drowned in the ocean of grief. Everyone felt as great joy when the Chatkas buzzed the peacock heard a clap of thunder. When the people came to know Bharata welcome resolved to start the very next morning, they all began to love him as their own life. After reverencing the sage and bowing their head to Bharata, they all took leave and proceeded to their respective homes, praising as they went his amiability and affection and exclaiming, "Blessed is Bharata's life in this world." They said to one another, "A great object has been accomplished." Everyone began to make preparations for the journey, whomsoever they left behind, saying, "You should stay behind to guard the house," left as if he was smitten on the neck. Someone said, "Nobody should be asked to remain behind. Who in this world would not have the reward of his life? Buried at property, house, happiness, friends, fathers, mothers, or brothers, who does not gladly help one turns one's face toward Sri Rama's feet. In every house they got ready vehicles of the various kinds. Their soul rejoiced at the thought of starting early next morning. On reaching his own apartments, Bharata thought to himself, "The city, horses, elephants, houses, and treasury, everything belongs to the Lord of Raghu. If I leave it unprotected, the result will not be good for me. For disloyalty is one's master is the greatest of all sin. A servant is he who serves the interest of his master, no matter if anyone brings millions of imputations against him. Pondering thus, he summoned faithful servants who have never dreamed of flinching from their duty, and finding to them all the secret, he taught them their paramount duty and entrusted them with the work for which they were severally fit. After making all arrangements and posting guards, Bharata went to Sri Rama's mother Kaushalya. Knowing all the mothers in distress, Bharata, who understood the way of the love, ordered palkis to be got ready and sedan chair to be equipped. Much afflicted at heart, like the male and the female Chakroka birds, the man and the woman of the city longed for the dawn. They kept awake the whole night till it was daybreak. When Bharata summoned his wise counselors and said to them, "Take all that is necessary for the installation ceremony. The sage Vashishta will crown Sri Rama even in the forest start expeditiously." Hearing this, the minister greeted him and had the horse, carriage, and elephant immediately equipped. Taking with him his wife Arundhati and the requisites of the Agnihotra offering oblation into the sacred fire, the chief of the Sikh Vashishta was the first to mount the carrot and led the way. Host of the Brahmins, who were all repository of austerity and spiritual growth, followed in vehicles of the various kind. The people of the city followed next, having equipped their own conveyance. They all left for Chitrakuta. All the queens journeyed in palkis, which were lovely beyond words. Leaving the city in the charge of faithful servants and respectfully sending the whole party ahead. The two brothers Bharata and Shatrugna started last for all remembering the feat of Sri Rama and Sita. Seizing with a longing for the sight of the Sri Rama, all the people, including both man and the woman, headed with the same zeal as male and the female elephant rush in pursuit of water, realizing in their heart that Sita and Rama were in the woods. Bharata and his younger brother journeyed on foot. Seeing their affection, the people were overcome with emotion and dismounting walks on the route, leaving their horse, elephants, and the carrots. Going up to the Bharata, Sri Rama's mother Kaushalya stopped her palki by his side and spoke in the soft accent. I adjure you by my life is to mount the carrot, dear child, or else all our near and dear ones will be put to trouble. If you walk on foot, the whole party will follow suit, and you know they all are wasted with sorrow and hardly fit to undertake the journey on the foot. Reverently obeying her commands and bowing their head at her feet, the two brothers mounted their carrots and proceeded on the journey. They halted in the first day on the bank of the Tamsa River and made the next halt on the bank of the Gomti. Some of them lived with milk and some on fruits, while others took their meals by night, renouncing ornaments and the luxuries. They observed vows in the fast for the sake of Sri Rama. Halting on the bank of the Sai river, they resumed their journey at the daybreak, and the whole party drew near the Shangavir Pura. When the Nishada chief Guha heard the whole story, he anxiously thought within himself, what motive can Bharata have in the journey to the wood? He must have some evil design at heart. If he had no mischievous intention at heart, why should he have brought an army with him? He must have thought that after killing Rama and his younger brother Lakshmana, he would regain peacefully and happily. But Bharata did not take to heart the maxims of the sound politely. Laterally, he brought on himself stigma alone, but this time he will meet a sure death. If all the warriors amongst the gods and the demons combine against Sri Rama, even they will all will fail to conquer him in a battle. But what wonder that Bharata should behave as he is doing for the numerous plants, after all, can never be a fruit of ambrosia. Wandering thus, Goha said to his kinsmen, be alert, all of you, collect the boats and sink them and blockade the flight of the steps leading to the river leading place. Seen on the side rise about midway between the Gumti and the Ganga and fall into a 10 miles. The essential of Margara village machine name of the mountain is Sing Singaroru. Equip yourselves and blockade the guard. Be prepared in every way to face death. I will encounter Bharata in open combat and would not let him cross the Ganga so long as there is life in me. To die in a battle and that too on the bank of the Ganga and to lay down their frail body in Sri Rama's cause. Then Bharata is Sri Rama's own brother and a king, while I am humble servant. It is through a great good fortune that one meets with a death like this. Is in the cause of my master, I will fight on the battlefields and will brighten the fortune sphere with my glory. I am going to lay down my life for the sake of Sri Ram, the Lord of Raghu, and will be gainer either way. If I win the battle, I will have served the cause of my master, and if I die, I will attain the eternal body of the Lord and his constant service. He who is not reckoned among the virtuous and is neither counted among Sri Rama's devotee live in vain in this world. He is a veritable burden to the earth and the axe to the trees of is troubled at heart, encouraged all, and fixing their thought in Sri Rama, forthwith demanded his square bow and the coat of mail. Make haste, Bridhan, to get ready the necessary equipment on hearing my command. Let no one shrink in fear. Very well, my lord. They all joyfully responded and roused the spirit of one another, greeting their chief one after another. Nishada left. They were all brave and loved to fight on the battlefield, invoking the shoe of the Sri Rama's lotus feet. They fastened their quiver and strung their bone. They donned their coat of mail, placed the helmets on their head, and straightened their axe, the gown, and here some of them who were exceptionally clever and at fencing, sprang with such agility that it seems they never touched the ground and moved in the air, equipping themselves with their weapons and forming themselves into batches. They all went up to their chief Guha and greeted him. Seeing his gallant warriors and finding them all fit for to achieve active service, he addressed them each by his name and duly honored them. Don't be tedious, spare not your life, brethren. There is great issue before me today. At this, the gallant warriors swiftly exclaimed, have patience, our brave captain. Through this majesty of the Shri Rama, and by your might, my lord, we shall leave no fighting man on horse in the enemy ranks. We shall never retrench our steps so long as there is life in us. Nay, we shall strew the earth with the trunk and the head of the fallen warriors. The Shada chief saw that the had a good band of the warriors and exclaimed, beat the martyrdom. Even as he said so, someone sneezed on the left. The soothsayer said, the sneeze has come from the spacious quarter. The issue will be the happy man. An old man thought over the meaning of the omen and exclaimed, let us go and meet Bharata. There will be no conflict. Jata is out of pursuit. Sri Rama to return. The omen tell us that there will be no discord. On hearing Guha said, the old man say, right. Fools act perceptibly and repent. If we come to the clash without knowing Bharata's intention as centering his temper and dispositions, he shall be doing much harm to our own cause. Close up all my warriors and blockade the guard till I meet Bharata and find out what is in his mind. When I have ascertained his friendly hostile nature, I shall know. I shall act accordingly. After that, I shall test his love on the touchstone of his friendly disposition, for haters and love cannot be distinguished, even if one tries to do so. So saying, he began to collect articles for making a present and sent for bulbs, roots, and fruits, as well as birds and the deer. Men of the porter class also bought loads of fats and dry fish of the patina as species. Thus, equipping themselves with presents, he proceeded to meet Bharta and met with auspicious and happy omens. As soon as he saw the chief of the Sikh Vashishta, he mentioned his own name and protested himself before the Sikh from the distance. The Sikh, who knew him to be the friends of the Sri Rama, bestowed his blessings on him and told Bharta in detail about him. Hearing that he was friends of the Sri Rama, Bharta alighted from the carrot and leaving it behind, advanced towards him with a heart overflowing with love. Guha on the part mentioned his village, caste, and name and greeted him by placing his head on the ground. When Bharata saw him falling protest on the ground, he lifted him and pressed him to the bosom. He felt as if he had met Lakshmana, and the surging emotion of his heart could not be repressed. Bharata embraced him with great affection, and the people admired the mode of his loves. Raising a jubilant cry of the applauses, the god extolled him and rained flowers on him. The man is low in the eyes of the world as well as from the point of view of the future, so much so that one must bath even on crossing his shadow. Sri Rama's younger brother Lakshmana Bharata has met him in the close embrace, his body thrilling all over with the joy. Hosts of the scenes turns away from them to utter the name of the Rama even while yawning. As for this man, he was embraced by Sri Rama himself, who thereby bestowed on him his family the efficacy of the sanctifying the whole world. When the water of the Karamsa joins the celestial stream, the Ganga, tell me who would not praise it on his head. The whole world knows how Valmiki becomes the god as Brahma, God himself, by repeating the name Rama in the reverse way as Mara. Even a Pari, a Sabara Bhila, a Kashi, the stupid barbarian, and the wild Kola and the Kirta get supremely sanctified and get renewed through all the spheres by uttering the name of Rama. It is no wonder if it has been so for the ages, who has not been exalted through contact with the hero of the Raghu race. In this way, the god glorified Sri Rama's name, and the people of Ayodhya rejoiced as they hear the praises. Having thus met Sri Rama's friends, Goha Bharta lovingly inquire after his health, welfare, and happiness. Seeing Bharta's amiability and affection on that occasion, then Shara forget all about himself. His bashfulness, love, and the soul delight belight grew, and he stood gazing on Bharta with unwinking eyes. Collecting himself, he bowed at Bharta's feet again, and with joined palm lovingly submitted. Now that I have behold your lotus feet, which are the very fountain of the happiness, I have accounted myself blessed for all time. And now, my Lord, by your supreme grace, my welfare is assured for millions of generations. remembering my doing and my descents on the one hand, and realizing the Lord's greatness on the others. He who does not devote himself for the Sri Rama's feet has been befooled in this world by providence. False, cowardly, evil-minded, and low-born as I am, and cast off from society as well as from the fold of the Vedas in every way, I have become the ornaments of the world ever since Sri Rama took me for his own. Seeing his affection and hearing his humble submissions, Bharta's younger brother Shatrugna embraced him next. The Nishada chief then greeted all the Doggers queen in polite and respectful terms, mentioning his name each time, treating him on the same footing as Lakshmana. They gave him their blessings. May you live happily for the millions of years. The men and the women of the city were as glad to see the Nishada chief as if they saw Lakshmana and said, "He has surely reaped the reward of his existence the, in that our beloved Rama folded him in his arms." Hearing them extol his good fortune, the Nishada chief led them with a cheerful heart. Receiving a signal from him and learning their masters will all his attendants dispersed, and in the houses, the foot of the trees, ponds, orchards, and groves, they made rooms for the guests to take up their lodging. When Bharata beheld the town of Veerapura, all his limbs were overpowered with emotion. Leaning on the Nishadachi, he presented a good sight. If appeared as if meekness and the love had taken a living form. In this May, Bharata with all his army went and saw the stream on the Ganga, which purifies the whole world. He made obeisance to the ghat where Sri Rama had bathed and said his prayers, and his soul was enraptured as if he had met Shri Ramas himself. The man and the woman of the city bowed low. They were glad to see the divine stream. Taking a dip into the river, they begged with joint palm to be favored with abundant love for Shri Ramachandra's feet. Bharata exclaimed, Mother Ganga, your sands are delightful to all, and the very cow of the plenty to your devotee. With joint palm, therefore, I ask of you only one boon, that is spontaneous love for the feet of Sita and Sri Rama. In this way, after taking a dip into the Ganga and receiving his Guru's commands, and on learning that all his mothers had finished their bath, he had the tent shifted. The people took up their lodgings at different places, and Bhartaj made inquiries about all. After worshipping the gods and taking leave of them, the two brothers Bharata and Shatrugna went up to Sri Rama's mother Kaushalya. Bharata showed respects to his mothers by kneading their feet and speaking to each in polite terms, then entrusting his brothers with the service of his mothers. He himself summoned the Nishada chief and went hand in hand with him. The body overpowered with excess of love, he asked his friends to show him the spots and thereby soothe the agony of his eyes and soul to some extent, where Sita, Rama, and Lakshmana has slept at night. Even as he spoke, the corners of his eyes were filled with tears. Nishada chief was distressed to hear Bharta's word and presently took him to the spot where the chief of the Raghu line had rested under the holy Ashoka tree with great affection and reverence. Bharta protested himself there. Beholding a lovely litter of kosa grass, he placed round it clockwise and made obeisance. He also placed the dust of the Sri Rama's footprints on his eyes with an excess of love which could not be described in words. He saw there is a few gold spangles which he placed on his head and treated them on a par with Sita. With tears in his eyes and her heart full of remorse, he spoke to his friends in sweet accents. These spangles have lost their charms and appear lustreless due to their separation from Sita. Even as the people of Ayodhya, both men and women, are spent through sorrow. To whom shall I liken her father Janka, who is in this world, is master of asceticism and the enjoyment both? And she had for her father-in-law King Dashatha, the son of the solar race, who was the envy, even the lord of the paradise Indra, and her beloved lord is no other than the Lord Sri Rama, from whose glory all great. Between the lovely litter of Kaushal, he placed around the clockwise and made obeisance He also placed the rest of Sri Rama's footprints on his eyes with the axis of love, which could not be described in words. He saw there is a few gold spangles, which he placed on his head and treated them on the Sita with red eyes and a heart full of romance. He spoke to friend in sweet accent. These spangles have lost their charms, appeared lustreless due to the separation of Shri. Even as the people of the Mahan was spent through sorrow. To whom shall I liken his father Janka, who is a mother in the master of asceticism? Where the chief of Rohan had rested under holy Ashoka tree with great affection and reverence, Bharata protested himself there. Beholding a lovely litter of kosha grass, he placed round his clockwise and made obeisance. He also placed the dust of the Shiran footprint on his eyes with an excess of love which could not be described in words. He saw there a few gold spangles which he placed on his head and treated them on a par with Sita with tears in his eyes and a heart full of remorse. He spoke to his friend in sweet accents. These spangles have lost their charms and appear lustreless due to their separation from Sita. Even as the people of it, the both men and women are spent through sorrow. To whom shall I liken her? Father Janka, who is in this world, is the master of asceticism and enjoyment both. And she had for her father-in-law King Dasharatha, the son of the solar race, who was the envy even of the Lord of the paradise Indra, and her beloved Lord is no other than Lord Shri Rama, from whose glory all great ones derived their greatness. Even as I gaze on the litter used by the Sita, the jewel among virtuous women devoted to their Lord, my heart does not break in honor. It is harder than unmeant by God. And my younger brother Lakshmana is so comely and worth for fondling. Never was there such a brother, nor is there, nor will be beloved of the people and the darling of his parents. He is dear as life for to both Sita and the hero of Raghunath. Nay, he is so delicate of the frame and tender of disposition. His body has never exposed to the hot wind, yet he is bearing hardship of the every kind of the woods. Oh, my breast has outdone millions of the thunderbolt. As for Sri Rama, he has illuminated the world by being born in it. He is such an ocean of beauty, ability, joy, and all excellencies. Sri Rama's disposition is the delight of the people of Ayodhya and his own family. Much more his preceptor and parents. Even enemies praise Sri Rama, who steals the heart by their polite speech, agreeable manners, and modesty of behavior. Millions of Shardas, goddess of speech, and hundreds of millions of Shesha, serpent gods, are unable to reckon upon the virtue of the Lord. And that jewel of the Raghunath, who is bliss personified in mind of joy and blessing, sleep on the ground, spreading the kosha grass on it. The way of the providence are inexorable indeed. Sri Rama had never heard any mention of sorrow. The king, our father, tended him like the tree of the life. Nay, all the mothers cherished him day and night, even as the eyelid protect the eyes on the serpent. Guards the gems on its heads. The same Rama now wandered through the forest on foot, living on bulbs, fruits, and flowers. Accursed is the Kakai, my mother's the root of the evil, who turns hostile to him. Her own husband, who was the dearest object of her life, twice accuses my own wretched self, the ocean of the sin and the occasion of all troubles. While God created me as a blot on my family, my weak mother has made me the enemy of my masters. Hearing this, the Nishada chief lovingly comforted him. Why should you lament in vain? Sri Rama is dear to you, and you are dear to Rama. This is the second sweat, and the blame rests with the adverse fate. Sri Rama, Sri Rama, Sri Rama. Cruel indeed was the doing of the adverse fate, which drove Mother Keke made the Lord reverently praise you again and again that night. There is no one say Tulsidas so supremely dear to Sri Rama as you are. I declare this and one on oath, therefore be assured that all will be well in the end of take courage in your heart. Sri Rama knows the heart of all. Nay, he is an embodiment of the tenderness, affection, and compassion. Considering this and summoning courage in your heart, please go and take rest. Bharata took comfort at the word of his friends and proceeded towards his longing with the thought directed towards the hero of the Raghuvedas. On receiving this news, the men and the women of the city sailed forth to see the place where Sri Rama had slept one night. Much distress at heart pacing round the spots clockwise. They made obeisance to it, and the blame cackled to their heart content. Tears rushed to their eyes again and again. They reproached the cruel fate. Some would praise Bharta's love, while others said the king has vindicated his affection. Shri Ramayana. Vindicated. Vindicated means clear to blame or suspicious. Clear to vindicated his affection. They would reproach themselves and praise the Nishadashi who can describe the confusion and woe. In this way, they all keep vigil overnight and daybreak. The passages across the river begin. The Guru was put on a good handsome boat, and all the mothers are on other another newly built one. Is an hour and a half. Everyone was taken across. When Bharta had alighted, he made sure that all had come. Having finished the morning duties, Bharta adored his mother's feet and bowed his head to the preceptor, and keeping part of Nishada ahead started the whole host. He made the Nishada chief, led the way, and then started the palki carrying the queen mothers and summoning his younger brother Shatrugna told him off as this their escort. The Guru proceeded next along with the other Brahmans. He himself then made obeisance to the celestial river, invoked Sita, Rama, and Lakshmana, and set forth on the foot horse while empty saddle, wise led by the bridle along with them. Again and again, the faithful servants said, be pleased, sire, to mount your horse. Sri Rama has gone on the foot, while carrot, elephants, and the horses are intended for me, not behold me. It's that I should walk on my head. Most difficulty for the servant. Seeing his behavior and hearing the polite speech, all his servants melted out a feeling of the self-disparagement. Bharta entered the limits of the Prayaga, the area surrounding the confluence of the Ganga and Yamuna near Allahabad in the afternoon, overflowing with love. He cried Rama, Sita, even as he went. The blisters on the sole of his feet glistened like dewdrops on the lotus bud. The whole company was grieved to hear the Bharta had made the day march on the foot. After ascertaining that all has finished their ablutions, he repaired to the confluence of the Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati and did homage to it. He bathed in white and the dark water with due ceremony and honored the Brahmans, bestowing gifts on them. As he watched the coming of the dark and the white waves, Bharta felt a thrill of joy over his body, and he joined his palms in prayer. You are the bestower of all desired object, O King of the sacred place. Your glory is known to the Vedas and manifest throughout the worlds, abandoning the course of conduct prescribed for the Kshatriya. I beg alms of you, as what vile act is there that an afflicted soul would not strive for? Realizing this, their heart of heart, the wise and generous donors accomplish in this world the prayers of the suppliant Sri Ramayana. I have no liking to the wealth, nor the religious merit, nor the sensuous enjoyment, nor again do I seek the state of perfect and the perceptual calm. Birth after birth, let me have devotion to the Sri Rama sweet. This is the only boon I ask and not else. Let Shri Rama take me for the big follow, and let the people call me an enemy of my preceptor master. All the same, by your grace, may my devotion to the feet of Sita and Shri Rama grow day by day. The cloud may neglect the chatka birds all his life, and on its asking water may discharge thunderbolt and hell. Yet the bird will fall in the estimation of the other if it cease to call out to the cloud. If it will gain in every way only by intensifying its love for the latter, just as gold gets brighter by being put into the fire. Even so, the lover shines by sticking his vows of devotion to the feet of his most beloved Lord. In response to Bharta's prayer, there came a sweet and the benedictory utterance from the midst of the Triveni. Dear Bharta, you are pious in every way, and your love of the Sri Rama sweet is unbounded. In vain do you harbor a pressing thought in your mind. There is no one so dear to Rama as you are. A thrill ran through Bharta's body, and his soul rejoiced to hear the agreeable words of the deity presiding over Triveni, exclaiming Bharta and praiseworthy, all praise to him. The god joyfully rained flowers. The inhabitations of the Prayaga, the king of the sacred place, including and provides religious students, householders, and their recluses, were transported with joy. Same person gathered together and said to one another, Bharta's affection and ability are artless and genuine. Hearing of Sri Rama's charming virtue, he came to the great sage Bharadwaja. The sage saw him falling protest before him and looked upon his as his own good luck personified. Running up and lifting him, the sage clasped him to his bosom and gratified him by bestowing his blessings on him. Offered a seat by the sage, he sat down with his head bent low, and if he would run away and hide his face in a den of the bashfulness, he felt much perturbed at the thought that the Sheikh might ask him any questions. Seeing his amiability and the confusion of the mind, the Sheikh said to him, "Listen, Bertha, I have already heard everything, but we have no control over the doing of fate. Be not distressed at the heart by the thought of what your mother has done. It is no fault of the Kake, dear child. It was the goddess of you who deluded her mind. Nobody would approve of it even if I said so, for the wise recognize worldly opinion as well as judgment of the Veda by singing your unsuited glory. However, the world and the Vedas both will be exalted. The world as well as Veda admit it, and everyone says that the king's sons of he alone gets the thorns on whom his father bestowed. The king who was above all true to his word would have called you and bestowed the kingdom on you, and and this would have brought him joy, religious merits, and glory. But the root of the trouble was Rama exiled to the forest, and the whole universe was pained to hear of it. It was, however, as fate would have it, much as the foolish queen Kaikeyi did wrong, she now repent for it. But he who lays the last blame for it on you is vile, ignorant, and weak. Even if you accept the sovereignty, no blame would attach to you, and even Rama would have been gratified to hear of it. But what you have done now is excellent. Your standpoint is quite justified. For devotion to the Sri Rama sweet is the root of all choice blessings in the world, and that is your wealth and life, nay, your vital breath. Who is then so highly blessed as you? This is, however, not to be wondered at is your case, who are the son of King Dashatha and beloved brother of Rama. I tell you, Bharata, there is no one held so dear in his heart by the chief of the line as you. Lakshmana, Rama, and Sita most fondly praised you the whole night. They came to know the secret only when they were bathing in Prayaga. They would feel overwhelmed with love for you. The chief of the Raghuline cherished the same love for you as a fool does for the life of easy in this world. This is, however, no great tribute to the hero of Raghures who cherished the whole family of the suppliant. As for the yourself, Bharta, my opinion is that you are the very incarnation of love for Rama. What to your mind constitutes a slur on you is the lesson to us all. The present occasions has proved very propitious for preparing lyrics in the form of the devotion of the Rama. Your glory, dear child, is the new type of the spotless moon, as it were, while Rama's devotees are like so many water lilies that opens only in the moonlight and chakora birds that are equally fond of the moon. I shall always remain above the horizon and shall never set, nay, it shall never wane and shall ever wax in the heavens of this world. The Chakravaka birds in the shape of their three words shall cherish great love for it, while the sun in the shape of the Lord's glory shall never rob of its splendor. It shall never delighted everyone by day as well as night, and the demon Rahu in the form of the Kakai's doing shall never eclipse it. It is full of nectar in the form of the idle love for Rama and untarnished by the stain resulting from the wrong done to the Guru. Let Rama's devotee now enjoy nectar to the heart content, since you have made it so easy to access even on earth. Of your forebears, King Bhagirath thought brought down the Celestial River, the very thought of which is fountain of all choice blessing. As for the Shatha virtue, they are more than one can describe. In this verse, there is none as even equal to you now than anyone can be superior to you. By the one by his affection and meekness, Sri Rama himself appears on Rama, whomever Shiva always saw him with the mental eyes, but never satiated. Sri Rama, Sri Rama, Sri Rama, Sri Rama, Sri Rama, Sri Rama, Sri Rama. You have created the peerless moon of your glory, which bears on it the figure of a deer in the shape of the figure, the you get a peerless moon of yoga, which bears on its figure of a deer in the shape of love for the Rama. You feel distress at heart, dear sons, for no purpose. You fear poverty, even though you have found the philosopher's stones. Listen, but I tell no falsehood. I am an ascetic dwelling in the forest and having no concerns with the world. I obtained the happy and the excellent reward of all spiritual practices. And I saw Lakshmana, Rama, and Sita. The reward of that reward itself is your sight. It is great fortune for Prayaga as well as all of us. Bharta, you deserve all praise since by your glory you have conquered the whole world. As he concluded his speech, the Sheikh was overwhelmed with love. Those who were assembled there rejoiced to hear the sage words while the god acclaimed Bharata and rained flowers on him. Even as Bharata heard the shouts of applause in the heavens as well as Prayaga, he was overwhelmed with emotion, experiencing a thrill of joy all over his body. With his heart full of Sita and Rama and his lotus eye wet with tears, he made obeisance to the conclave of the sages and thus spoke in the voice choked with emotion. Here is an assembly of sages, and we stands at the place which is known as the king of the sacred space. Great harm will come to a man if he states even a fact on oath at such a place. And if one tells lies, there will be no greater sin and depravity. I speak out in the truth, knowing as I do that you are all wise, while the Lord of Raghu has access to the innermost recesses of one's heart. Not mind, I am not shameful for what my mother has done, nor am I troubled at heart over the thought that the world will look upon me as mean. I fear not least I should spoil my future life, nor do I grieve over my father's death, whose meritorious deeds and the fair renown shines forth throughout the universe, who had sons like Lakshmana and Sri Rama, and who quitted his frail body as a result of his separation from Sri Rama. Thus, there is hardly any occasion for lamentation on this account. What pains me is that dressing themselves as the hermit Sri Rama's Lakshmana and Sita roam from the forest to forest without shoe on their feet, clad in the deer skins, living on the bare fruits, reposing on the ground over spreads with kosha grass and leaves, and halting under trees. They ever endure colds and the sunshine, rain and the storm. It is the burning agony which is ever consuming my breast, so that I feel no appetite by day and get no sleep at the night. For this fell disease there is no remedy. I have mentally ransacked the whole world. My mother's evil counsels was like a sinful carpenter who used my interest and ideas and fashioned out the inauspicious wood of the discord and destructive magical contrivances, muttering the terrible malevolent spell of Sri Rama exiles for the fixed terms of the 14 years planted it in the soil of the Israel. It is for my sake that she employed his infamous contrivances and brought ruin on the whole world. This committee will cease only when Sri Rama returns. By no other means can Ayodhya thrive again. The Sikh Bharadwaja was gratified to hear Bharata's words, and everyone applauded him in ways more than once. Give not much, dear child. All your woes will disappear the moment you behold Sri Rama's feet. After comforting him, thus the chief of the Sikh Bharata said, "Be my beloved guest in design to accept the bulbs, roots, and flowers that we may offer you." On hearing the six words, Bharata was troubled at heart, for he was faced with a hard puzzle at a difficult time. When realizing the importance of what the elder says, he adored the six sweets and replied with joined palm, "Your order must be respectfully obeyed. This is my paramount duty, my lord." Bharata's reply pleased the great sage Bharadwaja, who is called his truly servants and equal by his sides. Bharata ought to be entertained, therefore go and bring bulbs, roots, and fruits. They bowed their head with the most the word very well, sir, and most gladly proceeded to take charge of their respective duties. The Sheikh anxiously thought that he has invited a distinguished guest and that their deity must be worshipped according to his or her rank. Hearing of his riches, the various kind riddhis and supernatural power siddhis like anemia, the power of assuming ethnic size appeared in the vision and said, "We are prepared to do your bidding, O Lord." Bharata, as well as his younger brother Shatrugna and the whole company, are distressed due to their separation from Rama. Entertain them, relieve them of their fatigue. The great Sheikh gladly said. The riches and the supernatural power in the embodied form bowed to the command of the great Sheikhs and deemed themselves highly favored. The Siddhis said to one another, "Sri Rama's younger brother is a guest beyond compare. Going at the Sheikh's feet, let us do that which may gratify the whole of the royal party." So saying, they erected beautiful dwelling of the various patterns, which put to shame by their appearance the real cast of the god. They were replete with abundant luxuries and splendor which were coveted by immortals. Equipping with necessaries of all kinds, men and the maid servants remained in attendance, focusing their attention on the pleasure of the guest. The siddhis provided in the instance of the entities which cannot be dreamed of even in heaven. First of all, they assigned to each of the guest quarters that were charming and comfortable and suited to the taste of the occupant. Thereafter, Bharata and his family were assigned beautiful assigned quarters for which instruction given by the Sikhs. By dint of his penis, the great Sikhs prevailed wealth that astonished the creator Brahma himself. When Bharata beheld the Sheikh's powers, the realm of the rulers of Suez looked small in his eyes. The luxuries were more than one could describe. The wise would forget their desperation on seeing them. There were seats in the couches, dropping canopies grew in the gardens, birds and the beasts of the different species, sweet scented flowers in the fruit tasting like ambrosia. Many a lake and the pond of the limpid water, foods and the drinks of an undefined and the innocent character, which were more delicious than nectar and ambrosia, and which the guests would hesitate to accept like so many ascetics. Every house was supplied with the celestial cow, the cow of the plenty, and the tree of the paradise, Indra, the king of the gods, and the consort Sachi grew covetous at their side. It was the vernal season, and the cool, fragrant, and gentle breeze was blowing. Everyone had all the four prizes of the life, that is, religious merit, worldly riches, sensuous enjoyment, and final victory within one's easy reach. At the sight of luxuries like garlands, sandal paste, and women, the guests were overcome by the mixed feeling of joy and sorrow. Joy at the unique hospitality shown by the Sikh by dint of his yogic power, and sorrow because at the time when they should abstain from the luxury of the every kind, they were being offered the same. Affluents like the female Chakravarts and the Bharta as her mate were imprisoned together that night in the cage of the hermitage by the sake of the Sikh's order, which was a sad play, and they remained there till it was down. Was 19 for 30 days recitation.